Hey everyone, welcome to the show. In this episode, we are going to talk about Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa. Coming up next, from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is a special edition of the Diz Unplugged, celebrating the 60th anniversary of Disneyland. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disneyland vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table today by my good friends Jenny Lynn Knopp.
Hey, everybody.
The host of the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged, Mr. Tom Bell.
Hey, folks.
The lovely and talented Ms. Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
The lovely and talented Mr. Michael Bowling.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Also from the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged. And, of course, the lovely and talented William Perry.
Hello.
Who needs to sit up straight.
Sorry.
So you're in frame. It's all slouched over. And back in the production nook, the lovely and talented...
Not that talented.
Well, I didn't say graceful. Rhino Clavin on the switch.
Hey.
And, of course, our producer, Dustin West.
Hi.
And our associate producer, Craig Williams.
Hi.
So, as part of our 7 resorts in 7 days at Disneyland, we are obviously have to talk about Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa.
If we have to, yeah.
If we have to. And, of course, there are only 3 official Disney hotels at Disneyland, the Grand Californian being one of them, Disneyland Hotel and Paradise Pier. To round out the other 4, we've been covering some of the off-property hotels we thought might interest you. But before we get into our discussion on the Grand Californian, Craig has put together a little overview for you. So here it is. beautifully done, Craig. Beautifully done. Very nice video.
Now I'm hungry.
Now I'm hungry, yeah. So it's probably no big news to anybody who watches the show on any regular basis that, well, I like the Grand Californian. It's not my favorite. My favorite is Disneyland Hotel. But one of the reasons why Grand Californian's not my favorite is the rooms. I'm not a fan of the rooms, but I'm also not a fan of the rooms at Wilderness Lodge, and a lot of people are. So this is really just more my personal taste. The vast majority of people that I talk to don't agree with me on this. So I want to put that out there. But this is done in the style and by the same architect who is responsible for Wilderness Lodge and Animal Kingdom Lodge. And it is
Craftsman style.
Thank you, Craftsman style. Can you give us a little background on the hotel?
I can. Actually, it's based on the grand lodges of the national parks, such as the Ahwahnee Lodge in Yosemite, the lodge in Yellowstone National Park, in Glacier National Park. And it's done in a craftsman style, which is where the hotel is supposed to sort of be organic in that it's supposed to reflect its surroundings. So it's made from
money.
The natural, yes.
It's made from money.
It's made from the materials that are in the environment around the hotel. So theoretically, the stone, the wood, the marble, everything that makes up that building in a craftsman style is supposed to be from nature, from the natural environment which the building is sitting in, and it was supposed to be in direct contrast to the Victorian overly ornate style that was very popular at the time. And that's why Frank Lloyd Wright, who's probably the one we most know for the craftsman style, promoted it, because he hated Victorian style and all its ornateness and stuffiness. He wanted more airy openness, which is what the Grand Californian has. When you go into the Grand Californian, you'll notice how a lot of the pillars and everything are large at the base, and then they sort of, the people listening can't see me doing this, but then they swoop up and it becomes more narrow. All of the columns, the shape of the hotel itself, that's to reflect the shape of a tree.
I like the over the check-in area where they had it was supposed to replicate a church, wasn't it? That the
Right.
tree branches actually curved, and there was quite a few of them up there.
The fireplace
Right.
does that, right? It's really big base, and it gets smaller as it goes up.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and so that was that was the purpose of Craftsman, to reflect the color and the nature and the materials from nature. And so that permeates through the whole hotel. All of the ornamentation, it's all animals, insects. You'll notice their theme is bears all throughout the hotel. There's hidden Tinkerbell at the front desk as you look at the ceramic bears that are playing there. Even the gates to the pool are all in different styles of nature, but they all line up with something in real nature itself, whether it's lining up with the sunrise or lining up with, well, the trees cover it now, but it lines up. Even there's this one style of gate at the pool that is a direct line of sight to Mickey's Fun Wheel, and it all coordinates together. But the trees have now grown so much,
Right.
You can't see it any longer. So that's the story behind Craftsman and behind the Grand Californian.
There's also details in what they did with talking about the style of it reflecting nature, just to the point that different sides of the hotel have different colors too. I think we were looking at one side of the hotel and they told us that the colors on that side was to kind of reference moss, because moss always grows on
the
one
north
particular
side.
side of the tree. So, I mean, it's just the detail that went into this resort is
And-
kind of jaw-dropping.
We should say that we all took a tour. We did take the tour. I forgot what this one was called, but it's a free tour. It's offered several times a week. As a resort guest, you get a printout of everything that's going on while you're there, and this is one of them, and it's a free tour, and this lady was awesome for the details. She even stayed longer afterwards with us, showing us some other things at the hotel. So if you're interested, take the tour.
And there's a tour for Disneyland Hotel as well called the Happiest Hotel on Earth that's open to guests. And you don't have to be staying, you can be staying in any of the Disney hotels in order to sign up for that tour.
And before you get
tours.
before you get into the details of the Grand Californian, you've got to walk into the lobby, which is one of those lobbies, much like Wilderness Lodge and Animal Kingdom Lodge. It just has that wow factor.
Yeah.
But this is a more elegant lobby than I would say at Wilderness Lodge or at Animal Kingdom Lodge, but not elegant to the point where you're uncomfortable.
Right.
And I'll reference the lobby at the Grand Floridian, our flagship resort here. This is the flagship resort in California, and the Grand Floridian. There is that elegance, but there's that uptight Victorian elegance.
Yeah.
I would say maybe where Grand Floridian is elegant, Grand Californian is sophisticated.
Very good. Good choice of words.
Thanks.
And it's a massive hotel. I mean, just in terms of the amount of space it takes up and the number of places there are to explore.
Yeah, it's sprawling.
And I will talk a little bit about the rooms. If you've stayed at the Wilderness Lodge, then you've stayed at the Grand Californian because the rooms are identical. They're laid out identical. They're about the same square footage, I believe about 350 square feet, which I find to be on the small side for a deluxe. A lot of earth tones, a lot of those mossy greens, browns, the mission style, touches, whether it's the lamps and the furnishings. And, I find the rooms kind of, and I say this about the Wilderness Lodge, I find them kind of dark and dank. And just not airy and not bright and I don't feel like it's not relaxing to me.
See, it's very relaxing to me. That's the style of it.
Well, this is, and like I said, I need to make sure I qualify this heavily. I haven't met too many people that agree with me on this. This is an incredibly popular hotel. It's also a very expensive hotel. It is not unusual.
It's also the Californian DVC hotel.
Right. But it's not unusual for a hotel room here, a standard room, to run $500 a night. It's not unusual at all. And there are times, especially during the busier peak season, holidays, where it can go even north of that. So it's not an inexpensive place to stay. It does have direct access into California Adventure. So if you're staying at the Grand Californian, it literally, there is a special entrance to California Adventure for hotel guests. That
I would say, like with the hotel itself, I didn't find myself when we were there a couple years ago on the ABD trip staying in my room and doing things. I found myself going down to the lobby because the lobby felt so inviting with the fireplaces and stuff.
Very open.
I would rather stay down in the lobby and enjoy my evening rather than staying up in my room.
Well, speaking of that, when we were doing the Backstage Magic, the Adventures by Disney Backstage Magic in December, we stayed there, decorated for Christmas. Oh, wow. Okay, wow. The best hot chocolate I've ever tasted in my life.
Oh, really? Wow.
No, I mean, like, this was like first-rate hot chocolate.
Wow.
This was not from a mix. This was, they make this hot chocolate. And when I tell you, you take one sip of it, you're like, no, this isn't real. This can't be that good. And I must have gone down there 3 or 4 more times to get
really
this hot
good.
chocolate.
Wow.
It was absolutely incredible. What are your opinions of those who have stayed at the Grand? Opinions of the rooms?
Carol and I stay there fairly regularly because we're Disney Vacation Club members, but we've also stayed in the regular rooms as well, and we love it. Yeah, I agree. The rooms are a little dark because it's dark wood and all that. Disney Vacation Club rooms are very limited. There's only like 52 villas altogether, so it's very difficult to
It's a small
get
property,
in.
yeah.
And we're here, the shops where you can buy groceries at for the Disney Vacation Club members, it's more extensive. It's very limited in whitewater snacks, what you can purchase for your kitchen supplies. But we find them very comfortable. We find the rooms, I don't know. We find that there's enough room in them, plenty of closet space. We do like the fact that the hotel is in the park, so that we can just have that easy access in and out until 11 a.m. That is limited to guests of the Disney hotels at entrance.
Correct.
And they will check your room key.
Yes.
And after 11 a.m., it's okay for anybody. Or if you have a reservation at one of the restaurants, you can go in and out that way. But we love it. It's one of our favorites.
I'd say being used to that size of room from Disney World resorts, it's not a shock whenever you get there and you see it as that size. And in terms, if you like Wilderness Lodge, it is extremely comfortable and it's nice. The only time I stayed in that room was for the one ABD that I got to go on, and I loved it. But the only downside is that before I was in that room, I stayed over at the Disneyland Hotel on my first trip before that. And once you see how big a room you can have at Disneyland, then it's a little harder to go down. But I mean, if I had the option to stay at Grand Californian again, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, like I said, my preference is absolutely the Disneyland Hotel for a number of reasons, which I outlined, I think, quite clearly in the Disneyland Hotel show that we did.
Yeah.
But there are many factors of the Grand Californian that I love, not the least of which is that lobby. That lobby is absolutely spectacular.
I could just sit there all afternoon and listen to the piano player.
I was just going to say, it's a very comfortable lobby just to sit and do that. But also some great dining options. We had an opportunity to have breakfast at Storytellers Cafe. And I've eaten breakfast at Storytellers quite a few times, and it is consistently excellent. It is a great buffet, one of the best Disney buffets you will find.
It's limited menu, but good quality.
It is good quality,
Yeah.
and it's all fresh. And I noticed the eggs weren't powdered. The eggs were actually eggs, which, it's always nice to have eggs that are eggs.
Well, and it's got kind of somewhat rare characters to meet, especially for Disney World fans. You never get to see. I know we said Coda's the one bear, but I can't.
From Brother Bear, right?
Yeah, for
Coda
the you
and
have
Kenai.
you have the two brother bears. Brer Fox and Brer Bear are there.
Okay,
and
Nico from Pocahontas. is usually
yeah,
there.
exactly. And then Chip and Dale are there wearing their scarves and stuff, right? I mean, you don't get that.
And then
as
there's a
Disney World
forest
fan.
ranger character for
Yes.
sort of comedy
Oh, yeah,
relief
yeah.
there.
Exactly. And, of course, the other great dining experience, Napa Rose. And, you talk to anybody who's eaten at Napa Rose, you say those words to them, they just kind of glaze over like many of the eyes in this room just did. And Napa Rose, of course, is the signature restaurant, not just of the Grand Californian, but of the Disneyland Resort, I think. It's the signature restaurant.
Right.
And this is a culinary experience. This is not a dinner. This is a gourmet culinary experience. And this is, Chef
Andrew Sutton.
Andrew Sutton, thank you, he's brilliant. He is the head chef for the Disneyland Resort.
Correct.
He's in charge of everything. But this restaurant, along with Carthay Circle, are his special menus and his special touches. And actually, the guys got a chance. Was it you and Rhino?
Corey and I.
Corey and you,
Yep.
and had a chance to when we were filming in Napa Rose. Chef Andrew was extremely welcoming.
Oh, absolutely. We also were invited into Steakhouse 55 and the PCH Grill over at Paradise Pier to get some shots of the dinner food. And with those, they just brought out food, and we got to look at it.
They're very accommodating
Yeah,
for us.
extremely accommodating, and it was great to get some of that footage and pictures. We figured the same thing would happen for Napa, and it was the complete different experience. We show up, they had already started prepping dinner, but I get there, and Chef Andrew asked what we needed. I want to get some action of the kitchen, and I want to get the food. And instead of saying, okay, well, stand on the opposite side of where you do the chef's table or the counter where they expo, he's like, get on back here. And I just looked at him like, are you kidding? I'm allowed to come back into your kitchen? It's like, well, yeah, you need to get good shots.
You have to be on your knees, but yes.
You can't do anything like from back there. You need to get into it and actually get it. And so I was back there, and we thought that we covered the dishes we needed. And then he's like, no, give me something else. And then he did a private demonstration of their scallop dish for us then too, and also let us try everything that was in front of us, which is
tough job.
You poor thing.
Yeah, it was definitely the worst part. But oh my God, the pride that every person in that kitchen has is something I've never seen. They are so proud of what they're doing.
That's why the restaurant is so good.
I could eat there every night.
Well,
I think
that's really, Napa Rose is the premier restaurant in all of Disneyland
That's
Resort.
what I said. It is the signature restaurant. Yeah. I mean, not the only signature restaurant, but the preeminent one.
Right.
And we do have video. We don't have it available right now. We're pre-recording this. Hopefully, by the time this goes up, we'll have. Craig's nodding his head yes. We'll have it. He had to do some cleanup on the audio. And if we do have it ready to go, this is where we're going to put it.
So the scallop dish, I got all the mise en place here. What we're going to do is make a creamy stout sour cream whipped potato with a little bit of chive and lemon zest. Then we're going to pan-sear some scallops, and then we're going to make a nage of lemon, lobster, and vanilla. So a little whipped potatoes, a touch of lemon zest, a little bit of some chives. Kind of fold those together. Heat those up in the oven. Good stuff. We use clarified butter for this dish. And with scallops, what I like to do is just season them with salt, with no pepper. You got that? Manny, you should be listening the most. Don't walk away from me. I'm giving you how I do the scallops step by step right now, young man. So if you listen, you'll save me time. That would be kind of nice. Hot pan to start. Make sure you use your clarified butter. Set the scallop down and then kind of flatten it out just a little bit. But make sure it's tall and proud, separate from one another. But you don't want them leaning. That's what other cooks would do at other restaurants. But we don't do that. Okay. Then we're going to make our nage. Once they go into a pan, I don't move them. Don't shake it. Turn your heat down. They're running really sweet right now, so they caramelize very, very fast. Don't do that. So what we're going to do is you're making a nage. A nage means to swim, so it's kind of a light sauce that's somewhere between a broth and a sauce. We're going to saute our leeks. Deglaze of white wine. Notice I'm off the stove. I don't want to have any of that flare up that comes around the side, or it makes it taste like diesel. Okay? Take it down. We're going to add our lemon lobster broth, and this is just a stock. Very light. A little bit of some beurre blanc. Add a little bit of some lobster. A little bit of some tomatoes. And here's the big key, lots of lemon zest. What's nice about the lemon zest is it doesn't compete with wine, but it gives you the same flavor as a lemon. We will use some lemon juice, but we're actually wanting to use a little bit of both. Cook your scallops when they're nicely browned. Sear for just a little bit on top, and then we'll put them in the oven. When they come out, we'll baste them. Now in the sauce, I use herbs, not chives. So this is thyme, chervil, and parsley, equal portions. We use both the lemon juice and the and then the potatoes and the sauce can be made in batches. So the lemon's there, but the acidity of the lemon's too strong. Butter. This is the fat butter. Melt that in. And this I want you to actively melt. Okay? Don't be just throwing it in there and walking away. All right, Danny? Make sure he does it real active. Make it golden. Beautiful sauce. Alright, so I like to flip them a couple of times during the process. And then this is the big, a little bit of butter. Put it in there. I carry my strainer with me everywhere I go. Nice metal spoon. That's what makes them all unctuous looking and sheeny. So you got chive whipped potatoes, right, Manny? You got the scallop with the LLV. And this is important. I'm going to cut my potato, how much I'm going to serve. I'm going to go off the tip of my spoon so I get a nice dollop. Then I'm going to come with my sauce. A 2-ounce ladle. Again, very, very light and brothy. It will mirror the plate. It's really important that it mirror the plate. And then show them the money, dude. Put the money up front. Then we're going to put down our scallops. We have the chive and parsley, Danny. And I kind of like to lean it so it's popping up a little bit, right? So it shows a little more value. I create a V. Then these two guys are going to crisscross applesauce. Right? So it goes in 1, it goes in 2. They're not far apart. It's creating like a little vertex, like so. These guys need to cut nice points or quills. And it will allow it to look more finished. And this is kind of like a little garden, right? We're wine country, right? So you create a little garden up against the fence. So you get this nice aesthetic look. And that's how the scallops look every time. Okay?
And we're back. So that was kind of one of those magical moments on this experience. And, because we didn't want to disrupt the operation when these guys would go in to shoot at dinner time and things like that, we only sent 2 of the men. Although, there was 10 of us out there. It would have been like, crazy. And when they came back and told me this story, I'm like, oh my God, why was I not in there? Oh my God, how could I have missed this? But a private cooking demonstration from Chef Andrew.
And to add something about Napa Rose, also they have a very comfortable lounge in there with comfortable chairs. It's very inviting. So if you just want to stop in and have a drink, you can, even if you're not going to have a meal there, and just take in the ambiance.
And you can order at the bar as well, right? Yes. You can order dinner at the bar.
It's full menu, except if you want to do if you want to do the chef's tasting course,
Right.
the prefix, then they recommend you go into the restaurant for that.
Right.
And they do have a chef's table that you can make reservations for, and usually well in advance, and have a special dining experience.
Another place I find myself spending a lot of time when I'm at the Grand Californian is the Hearthstone Lounge, which is right off the lobby, and an amazing, really fantastic lobby bar. And it really feels like I'm demeaning it by calling it a lobby bar, because
Yeah.
it's so much more than that.
Right.
And it's a great bar. In the morning, it is like the best place to get coffee. They have great coffee. And, you know, a lot of times when we're out there, it's usually a group of us, whether either with our ABD trip or as we did this trip. And we'll just kind of hang out in there, and we'll order snacks, and these guys will order their beers and their cocktails, and I'll have my own sweet iced tea and a cup of coffee. But it's a place where I have spent hours and hours in this place.
Yeah,
Go
it's
down there with my laptop, and the staff is phenomenal. The bartenders are amazing. They are amazing bartenders.
It's basically our second base. Like you mentioned in the Disneyland Hotel show, if we're over at Disneyland Hotel, you'll probably find us at Trader Sam's. If we're over at Grand Californian, you'll
find us in
probably
Hearthstone.
find us at Hearthstone.
I was going to question you on the use of second base. I was going to say, shouldn't that be home base? But you're right. Trader Sam's is home base.
Home base, yeah.
This is second base.
Well, it depends on what hotel we're staying in.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're at the Grand, we're there. If we're at Disneyland, we're at Trader Sam's. The other thing about Hearthstone Lounge, which is really cool, is right outside Hearthstone is this beautiful outdoor fireplace.
Right.
And especially when it's a little chillier, because it will get chilly in Southern California at certain times of the year, it is a fantastic place to go get a drink, hang out, sit in front of the fire, and again, it's just one of those experiences. There is a fireplace also in the lobby of the Grand Californian, so if you want to be indoors, you can do it there. But if you feel like being outdoors, it's a really nice experience.
You just like the smoking lounge.
It is a smoking area, yes, it is, but it's also a cool place to hang out.
Yeah, no, it is.
In the inside fireplace, it's this huge grand stone fireplace like in the old lodges, but there's these enormous oversized rocking chairs that you can sit in and really just relax. It's very nice.
The other place to grab a bite to eat
Whitewater
is
Snacks.
Whitewater Snacks, which is their counter service, quick service location. And I got to be honest, it's been a while since I've eaten there.
The nachos are
Yeah,
great.
nachos. You got to have the nachos. But it's standard burgers, pizza, chili dogs, things like that. Plus, you can pick up, like Kathy said, the stuff for if you're staying in the villas. You can pick up breakfast foods and juices and drinks. Nachos are everybody likes the nachos. You can get chicken or beef, fresh chips. I'm sorry, I'm just going on
Getting
about
hungry again.
Tom loves nachos.
Yeah, really.
No, it's just these nachos are they're cheap, $11 and big old plate of nachos, and they advertise it as beef nachos, but it's really like carne asada, which is like nice steak.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, well, it seems like everything, like the ribs that you can order in the lounge, those ribs are
Right.
absurd.
Plus
Absurd.
plus the outside seating area for Whitewater Snacks looks out into California Adventure, which is
Oh, right. That's right. It does. It does. There is. I don't think the pool is too much to talk about at the Grand California. It's a very nice pool. It's got a water feature, water slide, but it's not. It's not like kind of the Disneyland hotel
Right.
pool where it's just kind of themed over the top. But it's a pool that's always full.
And you can rent cabanas both at the Grand Californian and at the Disneyland Hotel.
Correct.
We've rented cabanas at the Disneyland Hotel, and they're fantastic. I think they're worth the price. And you have your server that's assigned to your cabana section. And they'll bring you at Disneyland Hotel. They bring you food from Trader Sam's, and drinks from there. And over here at the Grand Californian, it comes from Whitewater Snacks and from the Hearthstone. So just a great place to relax in, and with big, huge overstuffed chairs. There's your own refrigerator. You get water and fruit that comes with it, and very relaxing.
Indeed. Do you remember what the price point was on the cabanas?
I don't offhand because it just popped into my head about the cabanas. But
There's another thing that the Grand Californian has that the other resorts don't, and that's a kids club. So for parents that are wanting to go out and spend time together without the children, no matter which Disney resort you're staying in, you would have to travel to the Grand Californian to drop your kids off at the kids' location.
yeah, the little Pinocchios area.
And what did you think of that? You had gone into that kids club. What did you think of it?
I didn't make it into
you
the
did
kids.
go in?
No, but I didn't make the tour with you guys to the kids club. But I do know that is the only one on the property because I inquired about that at Disneyland and Paradise Pier, and they both said, well, in order to get that service, you have to take the children to the Grand Californian.
I would say that it was actually really nice inside. If I was a kid and I was put in there was a ton of board games. There was computers that you could play games on. They had the screen playing movies and kind of actual like bleacher seating for them, and then other little comfy chairs they could sit in on. And then as an adult, they said that basically if you come there with kids, it's definitely open through the hours of Napa Rose. So drop off your kids and then go to Napa Rose. So always goes back to Napa Rose.
We look in there often because it's on the walkway to the breezeway to the DVC villas. So we see the counselors in there doing arts and crafts projects with the kids and playing games. Frozen plays perpetually in there, and the video games going on. And then the arcade that used to be next door to that was just recently converted to an exercise room. So you have a lot of ellipticals and other exercise machines that you can use in there now, and that's new.
The other thing I want to make sure I mention is club level at the Grand Californian. They have a beautiful lounge up there. And same services as you would expect at any of the Disney concierge properties, club level properties, where they do, the hours are basically from about 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And, free soft drinks or complimentary soft drinks, water, beer. Throughout the day, they'll do, snacks. They'll do some breakfast, continental breakfast items in the morning. They'll do some snacks in the afternoon. They'll usually have hot and cold hors d'oeuvres in the evening. I always get the question, is what they serve in the evening in the lounge, is it a meal replacement? No. If you are looking at club level as a way to save money, stop it. Stop it. No. No. Bad tourist. It is not. There is not an advantage monetarily to staying club level. This is about a level of service that you're expecting. This is about having somebody to handle your reservations, whether it's you want to go golfing or you want to take a tour or somewhere or you want to get into Napa Rose. A lot of times, especially with harder to get reservations, when the concierge from the resort calls, they know these people. They say, hey, listen, I've got a guest here. I really need to get in. And they make something happen. And I'm convinced, although I don't know this for a fact, I'm convinced that Disney holds back certain reservations just for that purpose. So that's what the benefit of club level is. Again, you're talking about a minimum $200 to $300 premium over the same room in terms of if it's club level. So $500 a night room standard, $700 to $800 standard if you're in club level. And it's very expensive. There are times I look and I'm like, no, I'm not spending that. I'm not spending that. But they get it. They get it because it's a very, very popular hotel. And it is a beautiful lounge. And I will say, because the last time I stayed there back in December, we were concierge. And the staff was amazing. The staff was just absolutely amazing.
And you can go out on the balcony there, and I got some shots of it for the video I put together. The view looks out over to Disneyland, and you could see the Matterhorn come up at the top, but on clear days, then you can see the mountain range that's right behind
Yes.
it, and it's
Oh, wow.
one of the most spectacular
It's a
views.
spectacular view.
And
yeah.
I know we keep saying about California, the Grand Californian, there's this view, there's that view. There's a lot of views there, and there's none that are really that bad.
And the access to downtown Disney, I don't think it can be beat. I mean, it just takes, you're just right there. I mean, not that the other hotels are that far, but the Grand Californian is just dumps you right in the middle of downtown Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of views, if you're a Disney Vacation Club, there is in your wing a viewing area for World of Color on the top floor.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
Oh.
and it's not optimal because you're sort of seeing it from the side so that you don't really get a good view of the projections on the water screens. But, if you're a family and you're just too tired to drag your children over there to watch it, that is a really good alternative because you can hear the music, you can see quite a bit of it, and then just head right back down to your room.
So is there anything I'm missing that anybody wants to throw in about Grand California?
Do you want to
before
talk
we
about
go?
the spa?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Mandara Spa, located at the Grand California. It's a Mandara, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they call it Senses, I believe.
Well, Senses is usually the teen. They'll usually do a track of spa services for teens, and that's the one they usually call
Oh,
Senses.
okay.
And that's consistent over, I believe, over at Alani, and it's done on the cruise line now. Mandara Spa is an Elemis spa, and what that means is that the treatments and the product are all from Elemis, which is a big spa company in London, and it's the product I use. I love it. Their men's line is out of this world. But if you've done it if you're just speaking to guys now, if you've done the gentleman shave and facial on the cruise, and you're like, oh, look, it's an Elemis spa, you can go get it done there. Not going to happen on land, not in the United States. The U.S. requires a barber's license. They're going to give you a shave, even with a Bic razor. They have to have a barber's license. It's not required on the cruise lines. But that's why that particular service was not available on the Pride of America when I sailed Hawaii.
That's right.
Because it sails only in American waters. So it has no casino and no barber's license. So they couldn't do that treatment. I was heartbroken. But it's an Elemis spa, which really, their treatments are phenomenal. I love their stuff. If you've been to the spa on any of the Disney ships, you've been to an Elemis spa, and it's basically the same treatments that you're going to find there. And it's a small spa. They don't have a lot of treatment rooms. This is not like it is on the ships where it's 15 treatment rooms and all this other stuff. There, it's a much smaller spa, but a beautiful spa. Beautiful and great. Glad you brought that up. Gets me to talk about Elemis.
There you go.
Elemis product. It's all about the product. It's the first thing I do when I walk into a spa. What are you using? If I haven't heard of it, probably don't like it. It's an Elemis spa because I know the product. I know the product, I know the treatments. I'm so gay. All right, well, that is going to do it for our discussion of Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa at the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back with you again next time with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for being with us, everyone, and remember, go to Disneyland.